All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Stock Talk. My name is Amin Reina. I'm an investment coach here at Sage Investors, and this is episode 58, and it's also the first episode of 2017, so Happy New Year, everybody. Today, really want to talk about the start of the year here, and one of the things for me, the start of the year is kind of a really key point in terms of kind of how I set the stage for how I make investment decisions. The first thing I want to do is kind of reflect, and that's kind of look at how things went the previous year. And so this is the time of the year that I'm going to be digging out or waiting for my financial statements from my various brokerage companies where I invest through and take a look at the portfolio performance, or I'm going to go through my notes or go through my own spreadsheets because I track my own performance. In that sense, to get to sense, just to reflect a little bit of how things go. So that's one aspect you want to do. I do really when we're starting a new year. The second thing that's really important is kind of laying the framework or laying the foundation for how you're going to approach the upcoming year and how you're going to continue to make investment decisions going forward. And that's pretty much what I want to talk to you today about. And in my experience working as an investment coach, there's really two types of camps out there in terms of people who are kind of embarking on investing or who have been currently embarking on investing. And I want to talk about some of the things that these two different camps should probably be considering right now as we start off 2017. So the first group of people I'm going to talk about is people who are just, brand new, starting off investing square one. And what do? This is a perfect time, at the start of the year, it's perfect time to really start building that framework for getting into investing. It's just a logical, natural time to start doing it. So what do you need to be doing? Well, first of all, depending on how the markets are doing, it could actually be a really amazing time to start. If the markets are really depressed, it's a great time. It would be a great time to start investing right now because stocks will be cheaper and it's just a great entry point, and it just serves as a if you're entering the market, we talk a lot about market timing, not timing the market. The reality is you got to enter the market at some point. You're going to time the market at some point, and if the market happens to be down, then great. It's a bonus. It's probably going to give you an extra leg up down the road in terms of returns. But if the market's up and doing really well, then doesn't mean you just don't invest, you just kind of lay your foundation, and which I'm going to talk about, and set the stage for investment decisions that you're going to make maybe a little bit later. You may not be making them tomorrow, but you may be making them a little bit later. So the first thing that's really core if you're starting out investing, and I talk this with everybody, is you need to develop, there's different terms out there, but like an investment strategy, an investment plan, a financial plan. To me, it's bigger than that. It's more developing an ideology of how you're going to go make investment decisions. Are you going to make the investment decisions yourself, or are you going to outsource it to somebody else, to an advisor, to a broker, to a computer? You can outsource it now to a robo-advisor. You need to understand what path you want to take in terms of how you go out making investment decisions. And sometimes that's not easy to do on your own. So a lot of times what I tell people is, it's really good to work with a coach, an investment coach like myself, or a financial planner, a fee-only financial planner who's not looking for commissions and stuff like that, to formulate and develop kind of a financial plan, an investment plan, a strategy for how you're going to make investment decisions. Like, so if you want to buy stocks, how are you going to buy stocks? What's your criteria for buying and selling stocks? How do you make those investment decisions? You want to buy ETFs. ETFs are now more and more becoming the mainstream. How do you go about buying ETFs? What's the process? How do you evaluate them? You need to have that ideology down. And so once you've got that ideology down, the next thing you really got to do is educate. So if you're starting off investing, like chances are you don't know a lot about investing. The next core thing that's really important is upping your knowledge about finance and personal finance and specifically investing. And so really developing and understanding what the core principles are around making investment decisions. Critical area. So once you've done that, the next thing that's really important that you got to do is, and I'm being really brief here, like I don't have so much time, but I'm trying to be a bit brief. The next thing you really got to do, is so important, is engage. Get involved, like start making decisions, start actively making investment decisions. Start, opening up a brokerage account, opening up an account with a robo-advisor. Do it, get it done, because if you're a young person in your early 20s, you have time on your side, you have so much opportunity to smooth out any potential bumps in the road. If you're later in your life, you don't have much time, so you need to get wheels moving. And so a lot of times we make investment decisions like we put money in our 401k or our RSP or our TFSA and we just let it sit there. We do a great job saving, but then we don't do anything with it. So this is a time really at the start of the year where you got to start looking about, taking action. And ultimately part of it, what it involves in, especially, I focus on investing in stocks and ETFs, it's about not waiting for certain things to happen to start making investment decisions. It's about building a list. And I always talk about it, the list. I always have a list on me. I have it on my phone, I have it on my computer, I have it on my tablet, a list of companies and ETFs that I want to buy, that I've always wanted to buy, that I think are well-run, well-managed companies, fit my ideology, are compatible with my investment ideology, but I haven't bought them because I think they're too expensive. But I need to have that list because at some point they're going to become affordable. They're going to meet my criteria. And I don't want to sit around and figure out when I want to buy these things or should I buy these. I've done that homework. So this is the start of the year where you need to start building that list. You need to have that list. And then it becomes less about emotional decisions. It becomes more about critical execution, flawless execution. So that's kind of your strategy. If you're just thinking about starting to invest, that's the first thing. It's kind of like things you need to start asking yourselves up. You need to start asking yourselves. Now, the second crowd of people that I think are out there that I run into and I work with are the people who are the seasoned veterans who have been investing for 5 years, 10 years, whatever, 15. They've been in the game, they've been engaged in the process, or sometimes they've been periodically engaged in the process. And for those group of people, as you start the new year, it's really all about revisiting your investment plan, investment strategy. Chances are, if you're working with a financial advisor, and they've developed an investment plan for you, a financial plan for you, well, dig it up, take a look at it, and see if it's still relevant. This is the perfect time of the year to really reflect and review, and to see if that strategy and that plan that was put together for you is relevant. Because guess what? Things happen. Life gets in the way, circumstances changes. Are those things that are in your investment plan and those strategies that were outlined in there, are they still compatible with where you are and ultimately where you personally want to be? Perfect time of the year to start reviewing your investment strategy, your investment plans, your financial plans. So, because a lot of times we get these things, people pay like a couple of grand for these things, and then they just basically pitch it on the shelf and don't even bother looking. It just gathers dust. Well, this is the perfect time of the year to get that thing. Find it, first of all, because a lot of people don't even know. It's probably at the bottom of a box somewhere. Get it out and take a look at it, read at it, and see, hey, is this jive? Does this jive with where I want to go and what I want to do? And am I getting the performance that I need that's going to help me to get there? And start, and if it isn't, start having those honest conversations with your advisor, with your broker, with whoever is doing it. If you're managing it yourself, you need to just look in the mirror and say, hey, what the hell am I doing? So that's important. You gotta have some reaffirmation of consistency of what your ideology is. Now, if you're an investor out there who's been investing for 10 years and you don't have any of these plans, maybe it's time and you're kind of mucking along, well, maybe it is a call to action now where you may wanna bounce some ideas off with an advisor, with an investment coach, if you wanna learn more about investing and come to grips with the whole concept. This is a natural time and natural progression to do that. At the same time, I talked about building lists. Well, if you're starting off investing, you should always have a list. Well, I think if you're a seasoned investor, you need to have that list. And if you don't have that list, you need to start building that list. And again, because it's all about execution. It should be about, unemotional execution. We have flawless execution. If the markets are crapping out and there's investment opportunities out there, I shouldn't figure out, oh, well, gee, I guess I should analyze Google now to see if it's a good company. No, you should already know that. You should already have identified these companies, these well-run, well-managed companies. It's about execution. So the goal right now, really, at the start of the year, is you don't want to, what a lot of people get into is that if you don't do anything and don't really pay attention or engage in the process, you will face decisions throughout the year that are going to be more reactive, going to cause you to be more reactive, and they're going to cause you to be more emotional in them, and chances are that's going to cloud your judgment, and chances are you're going to make a bad investment decision. What instead you want to do is you want to be proactive. You want to be clinical in your execution, and you want to be disciplined. And you can do that. And this is, again, the start of the year for me is a really critical time of the year because I can develop those plans. I can develop reaffirm my ideology, reaffirm my strategy, look at my list, review my list to see if these are companies that are still relevant and still performing well and potentially could be good investment opportunities. This is the time of the year I do. I do it all through the year, but here it seems to, because it's the start of the year, it has a little bit more sense of, I don't know if it's urgency, but it just makes sense to do that. So, two camps out there, but at the end of the day, what's common, two different camps out there that I work with, but what's common about it is the competencies that I as an investment coach, what I try to build up. And I'm trying to build up three things. As an investment coach, I work to educate people. In both camps, there's always room to be educated, develop educated in knowledge and elevate your financial literacy, both the mechanical side and the behavioral side of making investment decisions. So that's one element, competency that you try to build up, and it's a good time of the year to start building on that element. The second part is engaging in the process, becoming more actively involved. Not actively in terms of ETFs, like those passive active thing. It's more like just being more aware of what's going on with your portfolios and engaging in that sense. And then empowerment, having the confidence. When you have to start coming out and making investment decisions, having that confidence around. So if you're engaged and you're educated and you've got that educated and literacy on it, you're building really the core competencies of making great investment decisions. So I just want to share with you, it's just the perfect time of the year to do this to think about all these kind of things. And it's just sort of to me, it's maybe just a call to action for you to say, you know what, maybe I got to do some of this stuff. From education side of it, there's, courses and stuff like that. I offer my own courses, my online courses on ETFs and investing and stuff like that. That's one element of it. But there's all kinds of other ways, blogs, whatever works for you, do what you got to do. But this is the time really where it's a call to action. And it's not about resolutions, people want to make resolutions, just do it. Just get up and do this stuff. And I find when you do that, when you lay that foundation at the start of the year and you execute throughout the year, good things tend to come out. And no matter if it's a bull market or a bear market. So I want to share with you. I thought this was a nice, natural way for us to kick off the year. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to give me a shout through my Twitter handle @SageInvestors, or you can come to my website www.sageinvestors.ca. And also, I don't want to tell you about it. It's going to be later. It's a bit of a surprise. I'll save it for the next episode. So that's all I got for you. If you have any questions about this or anything else about investing, give me a shout. Be more than happy to answer it and chat about it with you. That's all I got for you. That's our episode today of Stock Talk, our first episode of 2017. Hopefully there'll be a lot more to come throughout the year. So I wish you all guys, everybody out there, guys and girls out there, Happy New Year, and good luck investing, and go out there and make some cash, right? All right, take care.